Good evening, people of Sanctuary. How you guys doing out there today? I wanted to come back face to face on the YouTubes just to give you a little bit of my thoughts after traveling out for my very first BlizzCon 2015. I was able to make it. Those of you who have been with me through the long haul know last year, 2014, did not turn out quite as we had planned. So this time around, it made it even more sweeter to actually make it out to California and hang out with all the awesome Diablo fans, people that I met up with, some of my partners in crime like Nineball that you guys are familiar with, Monstrous, etc. So, I just wanted to go through and show you some of the things that I acquired, because you guys, you always see, pointing that way, the stuff behind me whenever I'm doing like the West March workshop or some of my streams, that swag cabinet of goods. And man, being at BlizzCon was another opportunity to just bolster the amount of stuff that we could get. A lot of it being handed out for free too, and that's probably one of the biggest things that I kind of came away from BlizzCon with. The generosity of everyone, top to bottom. People just from day zero buying each other drinks just to do it, just to say, hey, like I want you to enjoy your time out here. We talk, Twitter, email, whatever. You've helped us out, you've done this, you've done that, so this is just a smidgen of what I could do to give you a reward for your hard work. And I mean, beyond that, of course, people just handing out, raffle tickets to get prizes later on, old shirts that they just get like this. I don't even play World of Warcraft, right? But look how sweet this shirt is. And actually, the 11-year anniversary is coming up. I pay attention, I know some things. The 11-year anniversary of World of Warcraft is coming up, so I'm like, cool, I got this 5-year anniversary. Like, why not, right? It's so awesome. The more Blizz gear, the better. So yeah, I got like the Pepe hanging out back there. I'm looking and see what I can see. I picked up that Diablo, but I could not get. There was like an Infernal Tyrael or something like that. It looked super, super badass. There were a couple of like con exclusives, I think, that were there. I want to say this pylon thing. This is like a desktop charger. USB charger. It's awesome. I don't know. I was just like, I'm gonna grab whatever I can. Diablo's my main game, but I just wanted to get as many Blizzard things as I could. So I don't want this video to come off as like, this is all the stuff that I got and these are all the people I met, but more just the experience of going and finally making it out there, because I enjoyed myself quite a bit. And I'm hoping to advocate for any of you who are kind of like on the fence, like, should I go? It's an expense, it's a plane ticket, it's a hotel, it's a actual ticket to BlizzCon. Do it. You have to do it, especially if they continue with what they had this year. If you're a huge Diablo fan, the Slaughter Cafe Inn by far was the coolest thing. And of course I have nothing to compare it to because I've never been to a BlizzCon previous to this, but everyone who had been previously was saying like Slaughter Cafe Inn was unlike anything they had done before and super cool just because of the intimacy of it. Like, you were literally able at any given moment to say, hey, there's Josh talking to some people over there. I'm just gonna waltz over and see what they're talking about, and then interject yourself into the conversation in a polite way, of course. But it was so cool to just have those interactions, even if you weren't asking questions yourself, just listening in on some of the stuff that people wanted answers to or found important to be talked about amongst themselves. And every dev from top to bottom was more than willing to interact with you, sign things, just hang out, talk about the game, talk about what they were playing, talking about what they're excited for in the new patch. So at the end of the day, I think what it did for me was really humanized the whole like behind the Blizzard wall. It made me completely understand that these people are just normal gamers like you and I. They're nerds. They love this game as much as we like to sit here and theory craft or come up with cool ideas or toss around, what are they doing? Obviously they have a little bit more info to work with because they're making it or they already have the announcements planned out. But they are just as excited and just as willing to hear from us, which, blew me away. We see it to some degree, but this was just it to the 9th degree. So definitely go if you can. If you haven't in the past, make it a choice to do it. It's your bucket list. If you want Blizzard to you want your life to have all the Blizzard things, BlizzCon has to be one of the things you achieve. I have a couple of pictures here. I know that not everyone follows me on Facebook or is a Facebook friend or however that works. So I have a couple of pictures that I just wanted to quickly waltz through. I'll try and speed through it because I don't want this video to be too long. But it's kind of just like my start to finish of the trip. And so here's me on the blue line here in Boston, heading towards the airport. And I've never seen it this empty before. You see like there's one dude kind of like creeping in the background there. And that's it. And it's super clean. It's the start of the day. I want to say this was like 5 a.m. or some ridiculous, ungodly hour. But then eventually made it onto the plane. And of course, I was like, oh, we're over water. Take some obligatory. I'm sitting next to the wing with the window seat picture. Then when I finally got to actual BlizzCon, Nineball and I realized we had the same exact backpack. Mine's the one on the right with the water bottle. But this backpack, I got this in like 2005, 2006. So this is well before Nineball and I even knew each other. And it's silly that we've both carried this thing too, because I can't remember the last time I've used a laptop. It's a laptop backpack. Neither of us brought laptops, but we brought this bag. So that was just kind of a funny moment to start things off. Here's your obligatory, I'm at BlizzCon Anaheim convention with all the signs and stuff. Took this one with my phone. And then we went to Con Before the Storm, that's Nineball and I, hanging out with some of the Cool Story Bro guys. So that was another thing that was really cool too in terms of like networking, getting to hang out with just other podcasters, other people that do what we do and understand kind of like the work that goes behind it. So that was nice to connect on that level, just to have people there that were like, yeah, man, we understand, like, you're getting ready for that weekly content, you're trying to push it out, you're trying to figure out how to make the news interesting when there is no news and stuff like that. So that was cool. And they graciously gave us some shirts, so we'll rock these, I'm sure, on a future episode of West March Workshop. Here's a couple of pictures of us together. That's myself, Nineball, it's Lala, who's appeared on some of our episodes in the past. I play with her a lot. She and I are pretty like hardcore in terms of logging those crazy hours, so we're usually partners in crime in the game. And then you have the great Deanie and Tim himself, so you guys are actually seeing the faces of those people that you normally only hear the voices of. Kind of crazy, right? There's a picture with Jach, the wizard who no longer wizards, perhaps. I think he might come back. I think there's eventually going to be a space for him in the game where he feels like it's good, especially if the whole botting situation susses itself out. That's still something that we're kind of waiting to hear about, but you know, we love Jach. We met him at the release party. What was that, like a year and a half ago-ish, I think? So it was good to see him come through BlizzCon. We actually had no idea that he was coming. Here is one of the Con Before the Storm panels. This JR, the co-founder of BlizzPro, along with some of his cohorts, Kevin Hofstadt's in the middle there. He's one of my buddies when I was doing the Hearthstone, the HearthPro podcast, back when I got my first start with BlizzPro. He and I were finally able to meet and connect after talking for so many hours before. So that was really exciting. And these guys are killing it. Their Well Met podcast is absolutely awesome. You should check it out if you like Hearthstone, or if you just like good podcasts in general. Definitely recommend it. And of course, Reb Fleur, who some of you guys might know if you're fans of BlizzPro, if you're fans of Twizzcast, if you're fans of just awesome people. Reb's in the middle there. So she was doing something for one of her other podcasts, so I took a picture of her. And then at the end of the first day, this is like day 0, that's Nineball, myself, and of course the lovely Brandy, also known as Dainty Nevelistus, hanging out. And then shenanigans started to occur. There were horse masks, that ridiculously epic beard from the man himself, Epic Insanity. I wore the horse mask as well. I don't remember this really. Things started to get a little weird. And then this is the next day, the morning before all the goodness would start. Opening ceremonies, getting in line, waiting it out, tons of people, and then some close-ups of those signs again, waiting, and then finally we got inside. Some of the people that I was hanging out with, like Nineball, Monstrous, had media passes, so they were able to skip that entire line that you just saw. Got us some really good seats, so you could see we're like maybe just one section away from the actual front of the stage, where Mike Morheim would appear and start and kick things off. And we're just setting the scene here a little bit. That's a picture that Thunderclaw took. So, we're all hanging out. There's Dreadscythe next to me on the left side. Monstrous playing on his phone. And that woman is like, look in the background. That woman is totally like, who's he texting? Is that Words with Friends? Oh, I wish I was on Tinder. Like, who knows what's happening there? Nobody knows. There's the countdown before the opening ceremony. And at this point, the whole arena, the whole convention center is just rumbling with this huge bass. I can't replicate it for you. You have to be there. You have to feel this. It's so insane. Just amazing. And then Mike Morheim gets up there, delivers his speech. Really good stuff. You've got Dustin Browder, of course, doing the Heroes thing. Eric Dodds talking about the new Hearthstone stuff. And then bam, League of Explorers. I still love Hearthstone in the back of my head, even though I don't really play it as much. I'm still always like kind of curious what they're doing with their game and whatnot. So always cool to see them continue to roll these adventures out, roll these expansions out as well. Some really cool cards in League of Explorers. And then I always forget this guy's name, and I know like the internet's gonna kill me because he's like revered for making World of Warcraft awesome. And I have like the caption here somewhere, but it's not important. In any case, he revealed a lot of awesome stuff about Overwatch, all 21 heroes. It's actually going to be a box sale of the game, which people weren't necessarily anticipating. Thought it might be free to play. Follow that model, but yeah, it's actually going to be for sale. It's going to be on consoles. You get all the heroes included right from the get-go. Should be interesting to see how they continue to monetize it after those box sales. And then, of course, the man himself, Chris Metzen, talking about World of Warcraft. Good stuff. Then that iconic Tyrael statue. Had to get a couple of pictures of that guy, of course. There's myself hanging out with Tyrael. And then some info about the statue there. It's 14 feet high, about 700 pounds. That's ridiculous. Do you imagine trying to bench this? The StarCraft stage, I didn't get to watch as much esports as I wanted. That was definitely one of the things that I'm a bit bummed about. That StarCraft stage, though, man. So whenever the players would go up there, depending on the race that they were, so Protoss, Zerg, Terran, the stage would actually change, and it would be like more Protoss-y, like have more of that gold look to it, or, you know, more Zergy with all the creep and things like that. So it was really cool, really dynamic. And this doesn't even really give you like the full scope of it. Like, it was just huge. You can see those little boxes. I think my mouse is here. You can see like these little boxes. This is where the actual players sit. Pretty crazy. This is inside the Slaughtered Calf Inn. There was these barrels with all of the developers, the people that contributed to Diablo 3. All their names were on these barrels, and it looked really cool. So I grabbed this picture with Jay Wilson, of course, front and center. The man that helped us get this thing started off. Pay your respects. And then here's a panel picture from the Diablo panel. Josh kicking things off before all the other devs delved into the details of patch 2.4. That was a lot of Ds. Some crappy, whatchamacallem, cell phone pictures. As I was like furiously tweeting things out, I was trying to grab some pictures of the panel as well for you guys. So here's kind of that initial overview of what to expect in the patch. Of course, the Thorns of the Invoker, so hype. I had to grab that picture, naturally. This set is so much fun. I've been playing it on PTR. Expect some videos on that later on. Been playing it on PTR and absolutely loving it. So good, dude. Thorns is back. And then here are some of those set dungeon objectives. It's really interesting. A lot of them are very hard. Again, the patch is live. The patch is on PTR right now, so you can go and test all these things out for yourself. These are just, you know, screens from the panel when we were at BlizzCon. But tried a couple of the set dungeons, and man, they are not cakewalks. It's actually going to take multiple attempts to get them down for sure. At least multiple attempts to master them, which I'm really excited about, because mastery shouldn't come easily, especially with that sweet cosmetic reward at the end. Hanging out with Blake, that's Tivolier. He and I were actually roommates back at the Reaper of Souls launch party, so that's back, you know, March 2014. And shortly after that was when he got hired, and he didn't give me like any hints. I knew he was applying, I knew he was in the process, but he didn't give me any hints about how far along he was, so super stoked that I got to reconnect with him. Actually then saw him again at PAX East. It was like a month later after the release of Reaper of Souls, so that was really cool. Good to see him as always. Now he's doing StarCraft stuff. Sad. We love him all the same though, and he's wearing that Diablo shirt, of course. This is SOS, the man who went on to actually win the StarCraft World Championship at BlizzCon. This was the only esports thing that I got to watch. I watched literally like the last 10 minutes of, I think it was like his semifinal game against another Protoss, whose name I'm not going to remember right now. But he dominated. Actually, he didn't dominate. I think the games are close. He won 3-0, I want to say, in this round, but all the games are close. But this was just really cool. It was an interesting moment because it's the stuff I was seeing on streams before, like when you're watching an IEM, when you're watching, you know, any of those kind of like global finals, or some of the big stuff that's happening in the esports world. You just don't get the feeling of the scope. Like being there, sitting and like watching it really gives you the whole like I don't know, it's just a different feel when you're there in person. So that was nuts just to see like people swarm the stage after this interview was done. They were like, sign my posters. He like literally stood there for, I want to say 10 to 15 minutes afterward, signed stuff, talked to people. It was like he was like a superstar. It was amazing. Here's another shot of it. And then here, back at the Slaughter Calf Inn, we have a picture of a Crusader in cosplay. This one turned out pretty nicely. And then we're hanging out with Wyatt. This is one of my favorite pictures from the event. Got another one with Blake and 9ball and myself. And then we went to Chicken and Waffles. Oh man, this was a lot of fun. Went to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles on day 2, the morning of day 2 of BlizzCon. And the menu had all these different options, and then the waitress comes over and we're like, we have no clue like where to start with this. What should we do? And she's like, you just get chicken and waffles. So that's really all we got. You can see like all the plates with food still on them because the servings are like as big as your friggin' body, so no one can finish them. It was so tasty though. It was perfect after a night of drinking and a long day and all that good stuff. So lovely, lovely food. Shout out to Wyatt for that event taking place, getting it together. And here you have the Diablo raffle that was occurring. They gave away so much stuff, like multiple copies of the console version, some Treasure Goblin plushies, keychains, some of the rare, actually, Teriel statues from BlizzCon 2011. That's pretty legit. What else? They gave away signed copies of the original collector's edition, so the one like where you get the white wings. Those are like so rare and so expensive. Imagine having a signed copy of that. I was so jealous. They gave away 4 versions of that. So did not get lucky and win, but so it goes. Again, Brandy, Dainty, Nevilistus dominating the crowd, keeping us on tenterhooks as to who would win. And then, of course, story time with Wyatt transitioned over, and he gave a lot of really interesting answers to some cool questions. It's really like too bad that this stuff isn't broadcast, but this is like the reason to come to BlizzCon, right? Like you want to be sitting in this crowd to get these little nuggets of info, stuff that people will type up again and maybe repeat, but you never know if they get it exactly right or like what kind of tonation he had when he was talking about it. Like it's one of those atmosphere things. Definitely get there if you can. Some of the peoples that were there listening with me. You have Dreadscythe, Menegees, I Bleed Orange, some of your Diablo Reddit mods, Rankill, who you guys have probably heard on the Diablo Inc. Gamers, or DiabloII.net now podcast. And then we got to hang out with Juno Reactor, one of the fans of West March Workshop. That was really cool to meet up with him. Here's a selfie that worked out a little bit. I am the worst at taking selfies. I never do it, so I have no practice at it, but it kind of came out, right? Sure. This was a funny cosplay. So this woman works for Blizzard. She makes like some of the plushies and things. I think she handles a lot of the goodies that you can buy on the gear store. But she's in there, and we were waiting. And that's Rob Wing, who used to work with me at BlizzPro and now is Worthen in the Hearthstone community manager community over there. And we're waiting and waiting, and she finally popped out. I think we had to wait like 5 minutes. It was really funny. Had to be there. This amazing Tracer statue, which would go great, like, right behind me, I think. Put that right, I never used that door. Just block that door off with Tracer. That'd be fine. And then we got to meet up with DJ Tyrant, also known as Jimmy. He works for BlizzPro as well, too. And he also works for, I think, like, EG, Evil Geniuses. He's a huge StarCraft guy, so he actually got to do some really cool stuff. He was staff at BlizzCon this year. So it was really cool. It was also his birthday, like the day before this picture was taken. So it was awesome to get to hang out with him. We just happened to chance meet up with him. I got the Teriel statue in the background, of course, too. Good stuff. And then I got another picture with Reb outside. I didn't have one with her, so I got that one. So we got Jar Jar to make an appearance at BlizzCon. We got 9ball to put the mask on. Shadow Vapor, who you guys might know from my chat whenever I stream time to time. He was in there. He watches the West March Workshop as well, too. So he gets the whole, like, Jar Jar and 9ball having just this undying hatred for him. So we were kind of, like, texting, communicating back and forth. He's like, dude, I'm going to bring a Jar Jar mask. I was like, do it, man, do it. So he got this one, and we unveiled it at the end of BlizzCon. This is the end of day 2 at this point. And we're like, come on, you have to put it on, put it on. So he finally puts it on, but begrudgingly, of course. And then there's this lovely picture that ensued when I donned the mask as well. Oh, too good. Too good. Then I got to hang out with Dat Mods at the Hilton Hotel lobby. That's kind of where everyone would congregate after the convention floor closed down. People would go and head over to the Hilton, which is like skip jumping away from the front doors of the Anaheim Convention Center. So I got to hang out with him for a little bit. After he woke up, he almost missed the party. There's a picture of all of us together. Good times. More epic beards. Then we got a picture with Riker as well. We got to stream bomb him earlier in the day, which was a lot of fun. He was also at the Chicken and Waffles with us, if you remember from that picture. So we really got to hang out and get to know him a lot. He's a really cool dude. I hope you guys will check out his content if you don't already. Of course, he has that magic voice. I'm like trying to get the voice right now. But yeah, Riker, man, good dude. Really fun. Hope we get to hang out with him more often. Maybe get him on an episode of West March Workshop, maybe? Some laughs, some fun that we were having with the pictures. And then this was the picture that Dreadscythe took. All those other ones Monstrous took. But then he was yelling at us because he wanted us to compare the pictures to see who took a better one. But the very last one that he took, he covered with his hand. So when I so I was looking at Dreadscythe's picture, I was like, okay, looks like a decent picture. Then I flipped back left on my phone. I was like, oh god, what the hell is that? And we all just busted out, rolling on the floor laughing, like actually ROFL in real life. And everyone passed the phone around and they saw what I was dying about. And man, this was a really funny moment. This is my friend Alix, also known as Shappy to some of you, Shaw of Happiness. Got her hair, because she always has amazing hair. And another failed selfie as well. It turned out alright. But I am not the selfie king. Not at all. Some other pictures as well, too. That's Hawkeye all the way on the right. He runs the BlizzCon Countdown. That's another podcast that you guys should check out. Whenever BlizzCon's coming around, he gets a lot of cool guests on there. They give you some info on what to expect at BlizzCon, how to get through it, some of the cool places that you can go, like if you arrive early, if you stay later afterward. A lot of good stuff. Guy's really awesome. We saw him all week long, or all weekend long, I guess. And then one of my favorite pictures as well, too. Sorry, these are so small. Some of these are straight from the phone, so they came out a little on the small side. But that's pretty much the whole group that we were hanging out with. And then K-Mile is in the back behind Lala. He's just a fan that showed up all the way from Amsterdam. And he was hanging out. He did a solo trip to come to BlizzCon by himself, so he kind of ended up being part of our group. And he turned out to be a really cool dude. So that was a lot of fun just to, like, you know, you make friends when you go here. Like, anything that you expect, you can expect that and more. Like, you just never know exactly what's going to go down, who you'll meet, who you'll become friends with, who you might talk to for, like, a lifetime afterwards. So, really awesome. And I got to meet up with Cole Bell. She and I are both from Connecticut, and then when I joined BlizzPro, she was one of the people that started following me when they started, like, saying, hey, we have this new writer, he's doing Hearthstone stuff. And then we realized we had, like, all this stuff in common, being from Connecticut, all that good stuff. And it took getting to California before we could actually finally, like, hang out and meet up, so it was really funny. And this is the end of that night. It's starting, I think this is like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, so a little bit of sleepiness ensuing here. And this is one of the last pictures. We were playing a game of Werewolf at the hotel room. This is probably like 4 a.m. in the morning at this point, 3 a.m. Passing the time until my airport shuttle came. So it was a long day on that last day. But this was so much fun. The whole event, of course, was so much fun. That whole day was so much fun. But this especially was really great because being here, being at home, I get to talk to you guys, but I don't really get to, like, play games with people in real life. I don't really have, like, a lot of friends. I don't really have a lot of friends. I don't really have a lot of people around this, like, immediate area that play games and care about them as much as I do. So it's really cool to get moments like this where you get to just sit around, play some games, and just be a nerd for a little bit, you know? Be around people that feel exactly the same way you do about all this stuff. And then this last picture, when I got home, Dat Mods was watching the panel stream, on his stream, so a stream of a stream. And then I happened to walk in when he was looking at some of the, like, last stuff. And I remember I asked a question, so I wanted to actually see. I hadn't watched the panel. I hadn't reviewed the panel yet from the VOD. And so I wanted to see, like, what it looked like when I walked up there and stuff. And this was really funny because he, like, paused it on my face. And I was like, oh my god, all his chat's just going to go bananas about whatever. So that was an interesting moment. But that's the trip, man. That was really it. Hope you guys enjoyed some of the pictures. I want to do shoutouts, but I know I'm going to forget people. So I'll just say thank you to everyone who made my BlizzCon, my very first one, a truly awesome and unique experience. Definitely special shoutouts to Nevelisted. She took care of me from before I even got out there. just give me ideas and tips on how to make it through, give me support to get into like events and things like that. Shout out to meeting the brand new CM who there wasn't like really no pictures of, but the new manager, community manager, Andrew over there was really cool dude. Really looking forward to what he does, how he leaves his mark on the community of Diablo. Wyatt, of course, from top to bottom, just really cool dude. Also helped out with a lot of like coordination of events and things like that. All the devs that I talked to, all the staff that I talked to, all the CMs, GMs, all the friends, like Dreadscythe for getting the room and everything together. Can't say enough about everyone that was there, and I really hope to see you there next time. Please come out and just let's have a beer, let's hang out, let's talk Diablo stuff. Maybe next year will be our huge year. Maybe we'll get some sort of expansion announcement or new game Diablo 4 announcement on American soil. Hopefully it doesn't go over to like Gamescom or something. I want it to be at BlizzCon. That'd be so amazing to be there for it. But hope you guys enjoyed the vid. I will be doing some patch 2.4 PTR videos in the near future, so look out for those. And I'll be catching up to you. Have a good one.